Baldwin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome, Secretary Walsh. I know our chair asked you earlier about the importance of childcare in terms of getting people back to work, but I have a more specific question to ask you about. Wisconsin is using a Department of Labor grant to test out an apprenticeship program that would train workers who enter the early childhood education and child care workforce. Expanding this type of apprenticeship, in my mind, could have a real multiplier effect. So not only would it address severe shortages in the child care workforce and industry, but by increasing the supply of available providers, it would free up more parents to be able to look at full-time work. And by filling open positions, we might even reduce inflation by helping businesses increase their production. So how can the department encourage investment in child care apprenticeship programs to reduce the workforce shortages and increase the output of our economy?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the question, and I'm encouraged to see what's happening in Wisconsin, to see how that works. And I think that having programs like that around the country to check is really important. This budget request that we're asking for is $303 million for apprenticeships to further expand, modernize, diversified registered apprenticeships by investing in high-quality youth and pre-apprenticeship models. So we're doing it, you're doing it in Wisconsin, we're doing it here with the trucking challenge here in Washington and around the country, quite honestly. We're looking at other areas, we're looking at healthcare, we're looking at IT. There's no question, when you think about the child care industry, number one, the challenges they have. Number one, they have a challenge with funding. And the funding is not consistent in every state. Sometimes the states fund it, sometimes the cities fund it, the federal government's funding it to some degree. That's one challenge. The second challenge is recruiting and retaining talent. And having that pipeline, that young person pipeline, or that pipeline into that industry where people can get paid while they're learning on the job training is going to be really important. Number two. Number three, the president filed a bill that really deals with the cost of child care. I think that the latest bill, if I'm not mistaken, is family earns $150,000 collectively. They pay no more than 7% of their salary for child care. That's another important aspect of it, making it affordable for families at the kitchen table. And the last thing, which is the first thing that you talked about, it really is not just about training people into this industry, but making sure we're paying them and treating them fairly. Because long-term sustainability of the child care industry is key. Long-term sustainability of our economy is key, and they go hand in hand.
Thank you. Last month, I introduced the Workplace Violence for Healthcare and Social Service Workers Act. It would require OSHA to set an enforceable standard to require healthcare employers to establish plans to prevent workplace violence. Incidents of workplace violence have increased significantly during the pandemic, but were high for healthcare workers and social workers prior to the beginning of the pandemic. And frankly, our healthcare heroes have been put through hell and certainly deserve better from all of us. The need for action was made even more tragically clear by a deadly shooting at a hospital in Tulsa, Oklahoma, just a few weeks ago. So I know this item has been on OSHA's regulatory agenda. I wonder if you can update me and the committee on the status of the workplace violence rule.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, no one, as you know, should lose their life on the job for whatever reason, or even be concerned about losing their life on the job. And I know the administration strongly supports the passage of your bill, which is really important. And in the meantime, OSHA has also worked extremely hard and has successfully prosecuted several important workplace violence cases under the Occupational Health and Safety Act. So we've done that. OSHA continues to issue citations in this space, so thank you for that. And the last thing is, I said it earlier to the chairwoman, I believe that we're on pace, hopefully, to get some final rule in the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay. Final question. This week, a GAO report examining states' execution of the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program found significant racial disparities in the rate of approval. The report recommended that as a part of efforts to modernize the unemployment system, that Department of Labor examine the potential causes of racial and ethnic disparities. Will you commit to making that examination as recommended by GAO? And do you have any insights at this point?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, the department is focused right now on both fixing and the short and long-term issues with the unemployment system. You know, we've announced the availability of more than $715 million in grants, fundings for states. We have Tiger teams that are out working. We're working on improvement to the identity verification tools within the UI program. We're working on equity grants. We're piloting programs. I feel really good where we are right now in this process, because we have both states, Democrat, Republican governor states, that are very active with us in the UI reform. So I feel good where it's at. Eventually, I mean, I asked for an increase in funding this year, but eventually states are going to have to really step up if they really want to make their systems equitable across the board. When I say step up, I mean making investments by stepping up.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Senator Braun has joined us. Are you ready to go, or you want 5 minutes?